All right, guys, here's some more examples of integration by parts or tabular. Let's do this example. Some more for us to do. Like we said, practice, practice, practice. That makes it better. If you want to try this one, this might be one that you want to try by yourself. You can. Pause the video after I write down the problem, and then you guys can go. This is one where I do by tabular. Reason why? This x cubed, that would be my f of x. I can take the derivative of x cubed all the way until it hits 0. And that's the hint there. You have to be able to take the derivative of something until it becomes 0. So the derivative of x cubed is 3x squared. Derivative of 3x squared is 6x. Derivative of 6x is 6. And finally, the derivative of 6 is 0. So I stop right there. Now I got to figure out my g of x. That's something I can take the antiderivative of over and over and over again. Well, sine of x, we can take the antiderivative of sine of x over and over again. Antiderivative of sine of x is negative cosine of x. Antiderivative of negative cosine of x is negative sine of x. Watch how I'm writing this. I'm matching it to the one across it. Antiderivative of negative sine of x is cosine of x. And the antiderivative of cosine of x is sine of x. And I stop when I match with the 0 one. It's making a table. That's why it's called tabular. And then again, go diagonal. It becomes plus, minus, plus, minus. So I'm multiplying the two. Positive just lets me know, helps me know the sign. So my answer is, what is x cubed times negative cosine of x? That's going to be negative x cubed cosine of x. Minus 3x squared times negative sine of x. Well, two negatives make that a positive 3x squared sine of x. Plus 6x times cosine of x is just going to be 6x cosine of x. Minus 6 times sine of x is going to be 6 sine of x. No limits, so plus c, and that is my answer. And that makes this way easier to do tabular, because here I've had to do integration by parts a couple times, and that has just been really, really long. But that kind of got in the bud. All right, let's do a challenging one. Arc sine of x dx. Do we remember arc sine? Hopefully you remember that's the exact same thing as sine inverse of x. This is not going to be tabular. Why not? I don't have the derivative of something that's going to go to 0. I also don't know the antiderivative of sine inverse or arc sine. If I did, I'd already just say this is the answer. But we don't. So I've got to figure out my u and my dv. Again, dv is something that has an antiderivative, so you can figure out the v. I don't know the antiderivative of sine inverse, but I should remember its derivative. So sine inverse becomes my u, not the dx part, just sine inverse of x, sorry. Dx becomes my dv. Now, the antiderivative of dx is just x. Derivative of sine inverse. Do we remember the derivative of sine inverse? It's a tough one. It's 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared dx. So now putting it together with integration by parts. U times v. So it's going to be x sine inverse of x, because that's part of my answer. Minus the integral of v du. Well, v is x over the square root of 1 minus x squared dx. Where that x on the top come from is x times 1 is x. All right. Well, now you got to figure out this integral. Well, I don't know that antiderivative. You don't know that antiderivative. Go through our toolbox. Hopefully you recognize this is a u sub. Oh my God, this problem just connected u sub with integration by parts. It's putting everything together. To solve this little bit of problem, you've got to do a u sub. Remember, u is your inside function. What's my inside function is 1 minus x squared. du. That's going to be negative 2x dx. Well, I have an x and a dx. I don't have a negative 2, so remember we got to do negative 1/2 on the other side. X dx. And then I'm going to do my u sub. We can say, okay, I've got negative 1/2 on the outside times the integral. This would be x dx would all be my du over the square root of u. We've talked about this with the square root of u though. And we've talked about what to do with the square root of u, right? It's really to the 1/2 power. It's in the denominator, so it's really to the negative 1/2 power. So really you've got negative 1/2 the integral of u to the negative 1/2 du, which is negative 1/2 times u, add 1 to the exponent, so negative 1/2 plus 1 is 1/2. Instead of dividing by the new exponent, we multiply by the reciprocal. So the 2's cancel out, so this becomes the negative square root of 1 minus x squared. So now bring this back to that answer. So our answer to our problem is really, don't forget the first part, x sine inverse of x minus the answer we got from down here on the right, minus a negative becomes a positive, square root of 1 minus x squared plus c. And here we go. That's our answer. That's a long one. That's a tough one because it is putting things together, right? So that one is kind of showing you like, hey, you can put these problems together and you are expected to know how to put these problems together. All right, let's do one more example. And this one I think you guys can definitely pause and try to do it by yourself. The integral of x squared e to the 3x dx. So if you guys want to try this one, I would say go ahead and pause the video, go ahead and give it a shot, talk to each other, and then press play. Let's see what we got. I would do tabular. Why would I do tabular? Because x squared is the derivative of something I can take until it becomes 0. The derivative of x squared is 2x, the derivative of 2x is 2, and the derivative of 2 is 0. I'd also do it because I should know the antiderivative of e to the 3x, right? It's e. E's nice. The derivative of e is e, the antiderivative of e is e. So the antiderivative of e to the 3x is e to the 3x, but you have to undo the chain rule with that times 3 by dividing by 3 or multiplying by 1/3. Just keep doing that. So again, you get e to the 3x multiplied by another third. A third times a third is a 1/9. Do one more time so it matches with the 0. That becomes e to the 3x. 1/9 times a third becomes 1/27. Start going diagonal. Plus, minus, plus. So that means my answer is, I've got x squared over 3 e to the 3x minus 2x over 9 e to the 3x plus 2 over 27 e to the 3x. No limits, so I have plus c. And there we go. All right, folks. Homework. All right, so first one, assignment number 4. Depending on how this video went, if you did this in 2 days or 1 day, this might be around August 21st. Page 350. You're doing 7.3. 1 through 14. 17 through 33, those are going to be odds. and then 36 and 38. Then, according to the calendar, you've got some time to do some homework questions in class, figure out some questions. I'll try to get some videos to answer them for you once I know what your questions are. You should have a review worksheet that you guys could try to get earlier if you like, but it should be handed out around the 27th. And then your quiz should be next week on August 29th, because then you guys have the 30th off for Labor Day weekend. Yeah, so your first quiz is August 29th. So maybe the 26th or 27th you can get this worksheet. That's a review, but you should also be doing Khan Academy as more practice problems and more review. Maybe they could be helping you out some more too if these videos aren't helping. All right, good luck. Talk to you guys later. Bye.